Welcome to Tales of Honor, a podcast with a mission to tell the true stories of every recipient of our nation's highest military award, the Medal of Honor. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Tales of Honor podcast. I'm your host, Christoph Ambrose, and today's episode is number 537. It's the last for July. We're going to keep on going in August with Vietnam War recipients, so that's what today is going to be as well. I have one order of business to go over plus one birthday. Let's start with the birthday. It's going to be tomorrow, August 1st, 1943. This birthday belongs to Mr. Paul Bucca. Paul is a former U.S. Army captain that earned the Medal of Honor for his actions during the Vietnam War. So a very happy 79th birthday to Mr. Bucca. That's all the birthdays. I'm going to have another on the next, two more on the next episode, so stay tuned for that. One last thing I want to sneak in here before I forget is on the last episode of Mr. Kenneth Stumpf, I actually was contacted by Kenneth's son, who let me know that I did mess up his birthday. And it's funny because I read it correctly. As far as all the websites, like I researched it properly, and it is the 28th of September. However, when I went to type it out, I must have hit the 1 instead of the 2, and I read it as the 18th of September. So there's a small correction on the last episode for Kenneth Stumpf, and it's already been fixed on the website. He was born on the 28th of September, 1944. Let's see here. So the only other order of business, I try very hard on this podcast to stay apolitical and to not go down too many rants and rabbit holes, but this does kind of tie in with the theme of the show. My mission is to tell the story of every single Medal of Honor recipient so that their names may never be forgotten and that they can be accessible to as many people as possible in a very easy-to-consume format. The theme that is recurring with all of these stories is that every single one of these people who displayed actions which earned them the highest award for valor in combat is that every single one of them earned them, I shouldn't say that, there were a few peacetime, but the vast majority of these recipients were deployed in support of a combat-related incident, whether it was a battle, just a small skirmish like Mogadishu was not a large, drawn-out war, or a longer 20-year war. These were all combat operations that took place because of governments, foreign governments, that overstepped their bounds. If you haven't been watching the news lately, H.R. 1808 is a bill that just passed the Congress and is on its way to the Senate right now, and it is being called the assault weapons ban. Now, I'm sure if you've listened to this long enough, you know that I do like my guns. I'm going to have a link in the show notes for you to read the text of the bill, to educate yourself on the bill. And I'm also going to have a link in the show notes for you to be able to contact your senators, for you to be able to search who it is and to be able to contact them, to tell them how you feel about this bill. Personally, I will be contacting my senators to let them know I would like them to vote no to this bill. It is an overreach of their powers, in my opinion. And regardless of what other newspaper outlets that are out there saying there's no chance of it passing in the Senate, I still have to let my elected representatives know that I don't think they should vote for this. You may feel the same way, and I could probably fill an entire podcast with how I feel and why I feel about this. But it is something that I truly believe is an overstep of our government's power, and it's a violation of our Constitution. And all of these men that received the Medal of Honor fought in battles to simply prevent this from happening in our own country. That's all I have to say about that. I'll have links in the show notes for you guys. Again, try to keep it very apolitical here, but it is something that it's a moment of history. I mean, we've seen how this history plays out in other countries. In the not so distant past, we've seen this play out. So let's do our best to kind of keep our country going in a positive direction, and let's not make the same mistakes other countries have made by disarming their citizens. So that's all I have for today. Without any further ado, let's jump right on into today's Tale of Honor. Leonard was born on the 25th of February, 1947, in Cherry Valley, Illinois, and he grew up hunting, fishing, and trapping along the Kishwaukee River. He was drafted into the U.S. Army just a few days after his 19th birthday in 1966, and he attended basic training at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Leonard was deployed in support of the Vietnam War with Company A, 3rd Battalion, 60th Infantry Regiment, 9th Infantry Division after completing advanced infantry training at Fort Polk, Louisiana. It was his actions on the 2nd of May, 1967 that would later earn him the Medal of Honor. The citation reads, "For conspicuous gallantry, intrepidity, and action at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, sweeping through an area where an enemy ambush had occurred earlier, Sergeant Keller's unit suddenly came under intense automatic weapons and small arms fire from a number of enemy bunkers and numerous snipers in nearby trees. Sergeant Keller quickly moved to a position where he could fire at a bunker from which automatic fire was received, killing one Viet Cong who attempted to escape. Leaping to the top of a dike, he and a comrade charged the enemy bunkers, dangerously exposing themselves to enemy fire. Armed with a light machine gun, Sergeant Keller and his comrades began a systemic assault on the enemy bunkers. While Sergeant Keller neutralized the fire from the first bunker with his machine gun, the other soldier threw in a hand grenade, killing its occupant. Then he and the other soldier charged the second bunker, killing its occupant. A third bunker contained an automatic rifleman who had pinned down much of the friendly platoon. Again, with utter disregard for the fire directed to them, the two men charged, killing the enemy within. Continuing their attack, Sergeant Keller and his comrade assaulted 4 more bunkers, killing the enemy within. During their furious assault, Sergeant Keller and his comrade had been almost continuously exposed to intense sniper fire as the enemy desperately sought to stop their attack. The ferocity of their assault had carried the soldiers beyond the line of bunkers into the tree line, forcing the snipers to flee. The two men gave immediate chase, driving the enemy away from the friendly unit. When his ammunition was exhausted, Sergeant Keller returned to the platoon to assist in evacuation of the wounded. The two-man assault had driven an enemy platoon from a well-prepared position, accounted for numerous enemy dead, and prevented further friendly casualties. Sergeant Keller's selfless heroism and indomitable fighting spirit saved the lives of many of his comrades and inflicted serious damage on the enemy. His acts were in keeping with the highest traditions of the military service and reflect great credit upon himself and the U.S. Army. Leonard's comrade, mentioned in the citation, was Raymond Wright, who also received the Medal of Honor with Leonard on the 19th of September, 1968, from President Johnson. He was discharged from the Army the month before receiving the medal, and he eventually went to work for the Supply Department at Naval Air Station Whiting Field, Florida. Leonard held a supervisor's position there for more than 20 years, and he was married twice and had 3 daughters. On the 18th of October, 2009, Leonard Burt Keller died at the age of 62 after his motorcycle rolled several times. He had just been honored at the U.S. Navy Fleet Reserve Association in Pensacola, Florida. 1 month later, he was laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery, Section 60, Site 9197. And that was a Tale of Honor. Thank you for listening to Tales of Honor, and if you enjoyed the show, please be sure to subscribe and tell your friends and family. Tales of Honor is written and produced by Christoph Ambrose, and theme music is Loyalty and Duty by Floruz Music. If you have any questions, you can send an email to talesofhonorpodcast@gmail.com, and please be sure to visit talesofhonorpodcast.com for more episodes and information.